You're out in the deck.
Hi there.
Hi.
I'm just trying to put my headphones in. Hold on.
You know, it's just like watching the stars come out at dusk to watch people suddenly appearing.
Wow.
7:30, we start to see
Yeah.
all kinds of people's heads show up. That's neat.
It's almost like a portal for amateur astronomers.
Yeah.
It's good that they're stars and not black holes.
No, they're all stars. You guys are all stars.
Okay, John.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
so
Randy got a comet.
Randy, you had a beard cut.
I
Oh,
did
my
indeed.
goodness. Yeah.
Very sharp.
Will I have to alter your mask?
No, I love my mask and I get so many great comments.
Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah.
Anna's the first one you made me.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, you had sent me a message with her wearing it. And you actually had tried it on. I thought, oh no, because I made it before I had a look at your corn beard.
What's the pattern on the mask?
Oh, it's.
What's that?
Do you think it's a real picture, or is it
Oh,
just
I think
somebody's
so.
idea?
I
Demo.
went shopping, so I had worn a mask. Let me see if I can find another one here. This is, I think this, I got this from the Gala Fabrics store, but it's got
Yeah, it's that.
a Z-shaped galaxy that, John, you would probably be familiar with. But it's they're taken from real photographs, but I think they flip them around and they mash them up. And I've got the Ring Nebula and Crab Nebula and M82 and M81 in really weird colors.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Lori.
Okay. Who's got the dog?
I'm guilty.
Oh, you're. Just Warren, I would jump about 6 feet if I hear it. It's just so. Whoa, what happened to my
I'll
friends?
go give it. I'll give you a visual.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, wait for the meter.
Come here.
Good evening, everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Good evening. Good
Oh.
evening.
Right here. Here we go. This is the little.
Hi, puppy.
Oh, yeah.
say hello
Astro
there.
dog.
Oh, we got our ears
Oh.
trimmed.
Somebody's got their dog on.
Yeah.
My favorite dog.
Mm.
Joe, where's yours?
Oh, Tanner.
Not in the
Rolly and
office, okay.
Tanner. Yeah.
Oh, that would do it.
Yeah. I guess I should turn this off and you won't be able to hear the dog.
Just give it a
Quite
couple.
a lot of,
And please get ready to let me know if you have something to say this evening. I think the only person who let me know about a topic is Randy.
Uh-oh. I hope you're not sick and tired of me.
No,
Never.
never, never.
Chris, I'd like to go over the Astro Cafe web.
Very good. Thanks, Reg.
we're all just too shy.
I have one picture that I can show. It's a light polluted picture of the comet.
Yeah.
Another one.
And David, how about yours?
Yeah, I have a report from Mill Bay.
Oh, yes. Drop.
It would be interesting to find out how many hours of sleep everybody is getting, because mine isn't very much.
Well, I got to bed at 2:30 this morning, got up at 10 to 7 because I Zoom a bunch of friends every morning at breakfast time. And so I had another hour and a half, really good nap around noon. So I would say about 6.
Yeah, there might be good naps, but
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I was so tired when I returned from Mill Bay that I left my tripod outside in front of the door.
oh
And
no.
I had
Oh.
my assignment to work on all day Sunday. I did not find my tripod until 2 o'clock the next morning. So it was just sitting there,
Oh,
Good.
just sitting there. So I guess I have a very safe and quiet neighborhood.
Does everybody know what happened 51 years ago today?
Yep.
yep.
Yeah.
No.
Yep. Yeah. So that party was a year ago. Wow.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yep.
Give it one more minute there. It looks like we've got 21 tonight.
You know, I think the media is doing a disservice on the comet. I've been up on Christmas Hill a number of nights, and just trying to get people to see it.
Yeah.
See it, they got it, but it's difficult. So, and I've been standing out with binoculars later in the evening and had people just about drive off the road because they're looking for it as they're driving. They know what you're doing, but they think it's
not
brighter
that
than
big.
it is.
I'm not sure how to do this.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I think we'll get started. Welcome to Astro Cafe via Zoom in the summer. So far, we have 21 people checked in, so that's good to see a group smaller than some of the weeks, but it's such a nice day out there today. I'm not entirely surprised. I think the main highlight that we'll continue with this week is, again, the comet. Hopefully, I think most people have managed to get out and see it, I think, and some people have some experiences to share. I think, John, you had a new photograph, so maybe we could start with you.
Sure, I have one that I'll show, and then all the better ones can come, because this is a light polluted one.
Mm.
Oh, this is cool. How did they do it?
Can you see that?
Not yet.
Oh.
It looks like you're stuck on the Astro Photos page. Did you choose to share the whole desktop or just this one?
Zoom share, just a second. I just have to hit it again, I think.
Yeah, and share the whole screen or whatever. I can't remember how it says it.
Did that do it?
No.
Maybe.
We're just seeing your Astro Photos there.
Maybe I can't do it. I don't know. I'm not sure why it's not working.
When you try sharing it, see if you can share screen. There you go.
There it is.
Mm. Oh. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that turned out quite well.
Mm-hmm.
I live in a lot of light pollution, so getting even this much is something. For those with sharp eyes, you might even see a tiny hint of the ion tail there.
Yeah.
Not much, a little bit. Anyway, that's the best I can do for now.
How long your exposure?
That's, just so you know, that's took 100 5-second exposures to get that much.
So how did you have point-like stars?
Easy. Well, not so easy. What I've done is I've overlaid an image with just the stars stacked together onto the one with just the comet stacked together. So I've combined the two. That's a thing that people who make comet images commonly do. If you don't do that, you get, you know, the stars are sort of streaks if you make the comet still, or the comet is just spread out if you leave the star still.
Very neat.
Nice.
Who else has something to share this evening? David, please.
Okay, so I wandered out to Mill Bay on Saturday evening. Can you see that?
Start it up. Yeah. There it is.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So I've been trying to sort of get a shot of the comet with a lot of stars around it, and there certainly were a lot of stars out in Mill Bay. I actually had Brenda scout out an area just alongside the road, be in front of Thrifty's, if you know where Thrifty's is.
Yep.
And Brentwood Bay College. So we just went down that stretch. There's a little bit of a stretch which has water in front of it. Originally, Brenda was inspired by Chris Gainor's picture of a reflection in the water, so she wanted something similar, but we didn't really get that. There was so much traffic on the road. I asked Brenda where the nightlife was in Mill Bay, and she said she was a little bit out of touch with that. So she said she didn't know. Well, we found out. It's actually that stretch of road. So we had a lot of cars going back and forth all night. You know, it's an amazing sight. Because the moon wasn't present, it was inky black. I'll tell you, the Milky Way was just beautiful above us. In terms of finding the comet, though, to get back to the comet, we weren't sure whether we had the right vantage point, because to the left is actually a large of trees. So we were thinking, when we didn't see it at dusk, that somehow we had just missed it by a smidge and we were going to see nothing. But you know, I relied on Sky Safari on my phone, and sure enough, it appeared exactly where Sky Safari said it would. So it was very accurate. And couldn't actually make out the ion jet here. I did some other shots as well, and I'm hoping to get some shots tonight. I'm going to go out tonight and capture a lot more frames. Actually shot up to 30 seconds, and it's actually, the tail is quite apparent at 30 seconds. You can see it really well, especially when it's not super light polluted. Now, the downside to this whole evening is, as time passed, the comet appeared in a very murky, cloudy area. So anything I received after that was kind of monochrome, and it wasn't very good. So this was the only prize I could leave with for the night. I got a wide field shot as well, but it's really mostly of light coming down the road. So that's my story from Mill Bay.
Thank you. Any questions for David?
One question, are people seeing it getting greener in their photos? Because I
It does have a green head. It does have a green head.
It's very green now, though. It didn't seem to be before.
Yeah, it's a very green head. It's easily lost when you do extended exposures. You don't really see it very well. You have to make sure you don't overexpose it.
Well, I did 15 seconds repeated, and it's very green now. So maybe that's my problem, or not a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm finding the same thing. I can show a photograph of the that I took from Peacock Hill, which pretty well mimics what the problem John has with light pollution. So I had to push it a lot. However, Michael, you can see the green head there very much. It's really beautiful. And I got an awful lot of noise in this image, but at least I got some of the ion tail, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
Like David was saying, it sunk into some muck pretty quickly. I was up on the hill around midnight, and by then it was, I would say, a little too low because it was getting into pretty spongy areas. But
is that a single shot, Joe?
Pardon me?
Is that a single shot?
No, that's a stack of 7, but they are short. They're only 6 seconds each.
Yeah, I actually did the same. I often, if they're taken in succession and they're only maybe 4 or 5 seconds long, it's very little risk of any kind of blurring. So I just combine those into a stack, and that works fairly well. The only other comment I'd make is that the position of the comet in the sky is not very high, and in some ways that makes for a fairly dramatic effect. What happens is you expose, and then the stars above it are actually very pinpoint, and they're very in a darkened area. So there's this kind of beautiful gradient that runs from zenith down to where the comet is.
That's a nice point, David. I could show a picture from Portland if you're interested, from Miles' brother.
Sure, that would
One-shot exposure.
Please do.
If I can figure out how to do it, I do a share screen.
Yeah, and make sure you share the screen.
So maybe I can make it share. Share. No, share.
Here we are.
Okay.
Okay, this is from, oh, well, okay. You
Yeah, this is a shot my brother got last night. He's my little brother, 7 years younger. And he's been an amateur astronomer longer than I have. But anyway, he lives about 5 miles out of downtown Portland. It's still pretty light polluted out in the suburbs. But he got this from his backyard terrace.
So it's one shot with a Nikon. I could get up the details, but it's not stacked. It's just his first attempt from the backyard. So it's actually, I think, pretty impressive, because I expected from down there and with the light pollution that he would be having trouble seeing it.
One more thing. Yeah. One more thing.
He did
I'm
well,
not
I
sure
would
about
say.
now, but I know for many years he was a member of the RASC Victoria
right.
section, although he's never been up here for any meetings or anything. But he wanted to be in the RASC, so he just affiliated with Victoria. At least 3 or 4 years ago, he was still a member, I'm sure.
Yeah, he may still be on the list. He was some years ago. I checked asked whoever was in charge of members at that time. Okay, stop share. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. There we go. Thank you.
Can I ask just the group a question?
Please do.
The group, I found that last night was much clearer than the last couple of nights before that. Did anybody else find that out, or was it just good in Brentwood Bay? I mean, it was really
good. It
quite
was
a bit better.
Yeah.
It was better in Gordon Head.
Yeah, Machosen was
Okay.
better than last week. It was really nice out there last night and this morning.
Okay, all right.
I
got one decent shot that when I pushed it a little bit, with adding a little bit more light, I was able to find the ion tail. So I have one picture with the ion tail, and that was it. But things are.
You gonna show it to us, Laurie?
No, I don't have it. I don't have it all ready and set up. Maybe next week I can get myself organized. Everything is still just kind of sitting. I just dump things in at 1:30 in the morning, and then
Yeah.
and leave them. But I just found last night was quite a bit nicer to see some of the stuff. So yeah.
Can I just say something about the weather? Last night was our best night for a while. We've got high cloud coming in after midnight tonight.
Okay.
Oh, do you? Oh, okay.
Come out of that one. Unplug it and give it to me.
We're getting some feedback from someone.
Getting feedback. Terrible.
Okay. Try that again, Reg.
Is that better? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Last night was probably the best night we had in the last several nights. There's no high cloud at all, but we do have a band of high cloud moving in from the north tonight after midnight. So if you want to have a good look at the comet, get out there around 11.
Very good.
And how about the rest of the week?
Yeah.
It could be better again, but tomorrow, don't be too excited for an early morning comet visiting tomorrow morning.
I thought last night from the city was a disaster. It was the hardest night I've had lining things up and taking snapshots, and enough so that I got on my knees and got up some down many times that I had to have 2 rollbacks when I got back and went to bed.
Where were you, Michael?
On my deck.
Oh, okay. And I didn't think you had too much to your north, do you? Light-wise.
Well, what I have is a home that gets in the way after about 11:30. It migrates around. So
I'm in the same position as Lori. I have a couple of shots in the can that I have to. I was talking to David about that have gloomy stars I need to deal with. But I do have a couple of pictures that were taken by 2 young ladies I took out with me to the Cove on Saturday night, visitors to my neighbor across the street. And she had, one of the girls had, I'll show you here, I think, if I can share a screen. She had a cell phone. And
oh yeah,
when you consider what she's working with and not knowing the night sky whatsoever, she had something to take home with her. She was from Calgary. So there you go, and I'll stop share. So they were quite pleased to have an option to an opportunity to get a little bit of a tour of the night sky and a look at the comet.
Good.
I have to explain my lack of staying in till after midnight by the fact that there's been 2 cougar sightings within 100 meters of this place in the last week. So every time you go out, every time you hear something, it's going to get you.
We had a wildlife sighting on the way back from the first night we went out to look at the comet. We were coming down Cadborough Bay Road just past Peppers there, and smack in the middle of the road there were 5 raccoons having a Donnybrook, and they wouldn't get out of the way.
Raccoons are one thing.
Wish. Yeah. Okay, if there's, so Randy, would you like to, you had something you wanted to talk about?
Sure. Well, I just continue to be infatuated by our comet. And so I have another few things from, I tried to get people from Canada from the RASC Facebook page, but lots and lots of things going on. Okay, so come on, there we go. So this was my Friday night at Beacon Hill. I just took a 2-second exposure about every 5 seconds for 7 minutes.
Very well done, Randy. Congrats.
Wow. Yeah. Excellent.
And it was dark enough that you could not see the flag by naked eye. So I was very pleased with this.
Got a good green head there too as well.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that, but yeah.
Yeah, there's some green, there's a bit of
red.
green tinge there.
Anyway,
Yeah,
so this is from just the most beautiful time lapse from north of Ottawa. And you can see the reflections in the lake, and you can see the space station go by, and there's a few meteors, bit of culture going on. I just think this fellow Malcolm Park just did a great job.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, yeah.
Had a good horizon, didn't he? My goodness.
Oh, what was
Oh,
that?
it's just going to tickle.
You really see how it's circumpolar.
Oh, there we go. Yes.
Oh, that was the space station. I've watched this about 5 times now. I keep seeing things. I think that was an airplane.
Oh, wow, wow, wow.
And there it disappears.
Very neat.
Shows his gear.
Great.
Very cool. Uh-huh.
9 till 5. That was, boy. Because at 9 o'clock, I certainly couldn't see anything.
Well, they're a bit south of us, I think. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know Deborah Saravolo, but I'm going to show a couple of things of hers. But this she put on YouTube. So this is Anarchist Mountain, Southern Interior, BC. And what I really like is that she's also got the aurora at the same time. And again, reflection in her pond. Lots of airplanes and things. But look at that beautiful aurora. And you can certainly see the ion tail as well as the dust tail.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Really spectacular. She got horizoned out, or treed out. Really quite spectacular. Stop.
So,
Anyway, carrying on. So this was near Winnipeg, and in this one picture, you've got the comet, a meteor, the aurora, and Steve.
Mm.
Cool.
If anybody knows who these astrophotographers are, tell me about them, because I'm just really impressed with these people.
Well, Deborah,
So,
Deborah's from originally from Ottawa. Her and Peter Saravolo, and they now live on Anarchist Mountain, which is just above Vesuvius. That's what you saw, the little city you saw in her time lapse.
Where Jack Newton lives.
Yes. Yeah, he's
Jack,
on the mountain.
Yeah, Jack is next door to those folks.
is that the Astronomy B&B?
It is.
Yes.
Oh, I've heard about that.
Yeah.
But here's a fellow who put a, what did he call it? Star analyzer. It's a diffraction grating. You can put, let's say 1 1/4 inch filter. And so this was on the right. That's what it looked like without the filter. And so here's 2 different pictures. And the stars are very continuous. So we have the 3 stars. And then we have the coma here. And you can actually see the tail going off it. So these are 2. This is a longer exposure you can see here. And so I actually put in the Facebook, wow, that's fantastic. Can you explain it? And he says, nope. So then that got me down the rabbit hole. That's part of the fun of this sort of thing. So this is done with a 50 centimeter telescope and a fancy amateur spectrometer in southern Britain, and they've identified it as the sodium. And then I didn't know what these guys were, and so I did a bit more research. So these two are this diatomic carbon, and then this guy here is cyanogen, which is what makes the cyan color. And just to compare, Mr. Swan, I don't know who Swan was, he did the spectrum in the, I don't know, 1850s. And so they're called Swan bands. And so this is just the spectrum from a butane torch. And you can see how perfectly so this double peak here is this double peak, and that's this guy. This one here is this guy. So it's very clearly the same thing. Why is there a double bonded carbon being the dominant sort of light coming off a comet? I'd love it if anybody knew. Nobody's answered.
Cyanogen is produced in gas clouds from which stars and planetary systems form, so that could have been inherited from solar systems, our solar system's cloud ancestry. Just a thought.
Such a bizarre molecule, like triple bonds. I don't know about cyanogen, but you know, acetylene, that fuel for blowtorches, is a triple bond, and it's really hard to come by. You know, there's a lot of energy, and they're ready to get oxidized. So what these triple bonds are doing there, that's for another week. Anyway, just to bring it back, so what you see is, I think the sodium is kind of spread out as this red with this particular bit of equipment. But then you have the two Swan bands, that's these two guys, and then that's the cyanogen in the darker blue. So then some very fancy people, this was professionally done from a bit of equipment on a telescope in Arizona called the Io, because it really was designed to look at volcanism on Jupiter's moon, Io. But it has an amazing resolution for looking at sulfur. So on the left is everything but the sodium. Did I say sulfur? Sodium. So they subtracted the sodium from the spectrum, and they got this shape. You see that double tail that we've been seeing. So they see it very well there. But the sodium has a very different shape. And so they're trying to analyze that. And so it's just interesting. There's a lot of structure in these things. So going on, here's one of the best pictures I've seen of the coma. And I haven't seen a real analysis yet of what all those waves are, but a lot of people are getting pictures of those. And people are talking about it, the nucleus tumbling around. And so as the gases are coming off the comet, you see these shells. Anyway, it's just fantastic. And just to show you, this is from 1881. They were seeing the same sort of thing. But there's all sorts of different styles to comas. Here's Saravolo again, the one who did the time lapse earlier on, and you totally see the greenish coma before getting into the more tan colored tail.
Light blue.
So there's a aspect which people have not been commenting on a lot, but I'm fascinated with, is the structure in the tail. So there's nothing written up yet, as far as I can tell, about NEOWISE, about the 2020 comet, but I did find an amazing article just published 2018, but from the 2007, what's it called? Somebody saw it. It's in the Southern Hemisphere, very, very bright.
McNaught.
Comet, McNaught. Good. So what they did, huge bit of work, is they combined from a couple of spacecraft and observations from the Earth. And so this is a time lapse. So 2007, January 11, and it goes on for about 5 days, I think. So I'm going to start it going, and we might go through it a couple of times. So what you have in the bottom, by doing some amazing modeling, first of all, just getting these different data sets to mesh perfectly is just fantastic. But at the bottom is the date they figure the dust left the coma. And so it starts on December 27th and it goes to January 12th. So that's the horizontal axis. I'll start that again. And in the vertical, they have this beta, and beta is the kind of the difference between the gravity pulling the dust towards the sun and the solar wind pushing the dust away. And so the smaller particles are going to be pushed faster, and so they're going to move faster. So you have a higher beta, and the larger particles don't move as fast. The thing that's fascinating me, look at this dust age. They up at the top, they have how long that dust has been trailing, and it's going for days and days and days. So when you're seeing that tail, you're not just looking at a now, which is pretty well what you're seeing with the ion tail, because those ions are so small and they're just getting pushed by the solar wind. But the dust is, you know, it's like a sailboat. It doesn't go as fast as the wind. They're getting pushed along. And so that structure there, and then what this article is about is where did that structure come from? And what they're saying is it's not just that there are times that there's more dust going out and times that it isn't, because they're actually able to see the birth of these striae, these striations. And they figure it's all has to do with variations in the solar wind. But it's definitely a hot topic right now. So just a couple more. I'll just let this finish. So a thing that I got from the RASC, who talked about RASC Canada a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, I've been going to YouTube a lot since then, and Don and some other person did a really good show about the comet. And the thing that really impressed me is how far the trajectory is from the ecliptic. It's almost perpendicular to the ecliptic. And so during the approach, it was a southern hemisphere object, and then it went through perihelion, and now it's going to get closest to the Earth, and it'll be less than 1 AU away from the Earth on the 23rd, I believe. But that's why it is looking pretty circumpolar right now, because it's up in our north. So that is a really good way of seeing what the comet is doing. Anyway, it also goes a long way to explaining the light curve. So there's this place called COBS, the Comet Observation Database, COBS. And so this is a huge range. Look at that. It's going from magnitude 18 to, the negatives. So this is all the stuff when we didn't see it. I don't know why there's this big gap here, because that line here on July 3rd is perihelion.
Other side of the sun.
Yeah, it's at the sun here, and I think these magnitudes are from, the SOHO and the other spacecraft. I don't think those are visual. And anyway, now everybody and their uncle is doing magnitudes now, and you can see that we, for city dwellers like me, observing under the street lights, it's finished, because this is as of today. This is completely updated. So this the last dot on here was I think just about an hour ago. But we're down to magnitude 3. No, what's that? 4, and it's going to get down. By the time it gets close to the Earth, then it's going to be at magnitude 5. And for where I live, that's not good enough. So I think for the sort of stuff that I do, it's probably finished. For you deep space photographers, you're still in going well for a good long time. And that's it.
Good.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments?
Yeah, so Randy, you remarked about seeing different striations coming out of the core. That was patently obvious to me when we were watching Hale-Bopp, because I was doing public outreach at the Science Center in Edmonton, and I didn't have a drive on my telescope at the time. So about every minute and a half, I had to remove the telescope and recenter the nucleus of the comet. And it was like watching a stop time motion of a lawn sprinkler from the top, because you could see a jet start up when the sun hit the comet as it rotated. And then as it went around, it would put this circular spray of dust out, and then it would shut off when it got into the shadow of the comet body. And then it would start up again on the other side. So over the course of an evening, you could watch 3 or 4 revolutions of the nucleus of the comet, and you'd see this spiral structure going away from the comet in the dust lanes. It was quite remarkable.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
So these would look like spirals if you had a time lapse of it.
Well,
You would see them.
the way we were looking at the orientation we were looking at it, that's sure what it looked like looking down on top of one of those 3-arm lawn sprinklers.
Wow.
You wouldn't see that if you were just looking at it once in a while, but because I was looking about every 5 to 10 minutes, it was obvious.
That's a fabulous shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, beauty.
Wow. I'm not getting those.
It's a fairly large telescope.
Yes.
So
500 millimeters.
500.
Yeah.
So what is 500 millimeters?
20,
That's
20 inch.
20 inch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Still,
one of Gary's kind of thing. That big.
that structure is just amazing.
2-meter focal length.
Yeah.
And there are no stars, so they didn't even try to stack the stars.
No.
Cool. Well.
Okay.
Well, thank you again.
Super. Thanks a lot. That was great.
Anybody else have anything comet related?
I do, Chris.
Sure, Reg. And then if you wanted to launch into what's on the page as well, that would be great.
Okay. Try and share the screen. And I'm going to start with an extremely short PowerPoint. The reason I did this is I was surprised how fast the comet moved. And I just happen to have two pictures to show that, so I'll just try and play from the start here. So basically, this was a shot that I took on the 12th of July, and you can see an awful lot of lights from Oak Bay Marina there. And then I took a shot a little bit later, a week later. This is a position it is here, and I couldn't align the stars. The stars did not overlap in the fields, but this little notch of trees did down here. And so I lined them up, and that's where I saw the relative distance. The scales are the same, and this is where the comet moved over a 7-day period. And this was, one picture was taken at 11 p.m., the one below at 11:15 p.m., and the other one was at 11:03 p.m. So it's zipping along at a pretty good rate, and I guess it verifies this beautiful finder shot, finder chart, that this is where it would be on the 12th, and this is where it was last night. And so it's somebody made the mention that's at the feet of the bear right now. This is the Ursa Major, and the lake's coming down. So it's going to be scooting this way pretty fast. So I think we have to be prepared when you go out each night that it's going to be moving along. You can't just say, well, it was here last night. That doesn't going to work as well. So I just wanted to share that with you. And I'll stop the share. And I will attempt to. Yes.
I just want to say that's nice, and to share. I have two sketches. I haven't done anything with them yet, but from that last night, and showed the bear's toes, the two stars down to the left, the 4-foot toes, and the night before, because we were looked at it consecutive nights, it had moved over. So when I get them together, I'll send it around. But it was really impressive with my 8-degree binocular field to get the same identifiable Ursa Major stars, toes in the sketch. It was so yeah, it's really moving along.
Great. Well, looking forward to that, Dorothy. That's good. So
maybe I'll show a couple of pictures here.
Sure,
can I go ahead first here?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to try sharing this. I think I just screwed up. Maybe not. Where are we here? Yeah, this is the Astronomy Astro Cafe page. I'll just quickly go through this, Chris, and let that. First of all, there's the this week's Sky from Sky News, and Sky at a Glance from Sky and Telescope stuff there. And then there's the list of, I think, the universe, Explore the Universe online stuff. There was just tons of stuff coming up there. And on the Explore the Universe on the 23rd, they're going to be talking about the summer triangle. So that's that. And then, of course, then there's all this YouTube stuff that people have been mentioning. What an oasis of information we have there. So that is available as a link. Thanks to Joe for that. But while waiting for NEOWISE, Dan Posey was up at Mount Tommy, and this is a 6-minute test of the North American Nebula, and he, with a special new light pollution filter he has in there, and he's got quite a detailed description of it in the RASC web or email link. So if you're interested, read that. But it's just amazing stuff he's got. So I included that in there as a bit of a break from the comet stuff. And then, of course, the Urban Challenge from John, he's mentioned, and he showed you some pictures there, John. These were taken on the 13th, but this shows you the glare that you had to contend with down here. And then you've got this beautiful close-up of the comet. I think that's gorgeous. Did you have any more comments on that, John?
No, just that, you know, I'm a little bit of a strange person these days because I could be going out into dark skies to do this, but I know a lot of you are doing it. And I just really feel like seeing what's possible from an urban site. I actually have a special light pollution filter too, but it only works, doesn't work on my camera lenses. It only works on the telescope. And I may try that tonight just to see, but I'll only be able to get the head of it that way.
Okay, and then this is an interesting shot that was sent by Marnie Ezeri, and her father relayed it to me. This is actually from a person, Ian Terrace, took this picture over Thetis Lake and got a nice reflection in the lake. And I encourage you to go and look at this because it's fun to kind of match up the stars. The individual stars show up in the lake as well. The backstory to this is that Ian took this picture, and when he went back to his car, he found it had been towed away because he stayed too long in a parking lot. So there's a little tragedy there, but he still felt it was worth taking the picture. So
that long skinny cloud to the right of the comet is visible in the photographs that I took the other night.
This here, or are these ones here?
Yeah, those ones, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
When was that taken?
This was one day ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other thing is I wanted to mention Karun relayed information about the Zoom open house at UVic on Wednesday at 7:30. And the title this time is Bigger, Better, Faster, How Changes in Technology Drive Astronomy Data Collection. So the link is there and the abstract is here. And with that, I will pass it back to the crew.
Thank you, Reg. Chris, you wanted to show something.
Well, I thought I've taken a few pictures in the last few days, and they're kind of by guess and by gosh more than anything. But I just thought talk about what a newbie can do, because I'm just sort of half serious trying to do some astrophotography, you know, and I've been working with David on the moon, and then this comet comes up, and I said, well, God knows when I'll have another chance. Anyway, here we go. So yes, at our meeting last week, you know, I had taken exactly 0 comet pictures in my whole life, and so that night I went out and took this picture. It's only about 3 seconds, but I really jacked up the ISO, and kind of the same thing with this picture the following night, the Tuesday night, and I thought, well, that's kind of not a bad start. I can at least say that I took something with this. Now the Tuesday night, I actually could not see this reflection with my own eyes. I didn't see the reflection until I didn't even see it in the camera viewfinder. I took it home, and there it was. But then I did, and I was actually thinking of leaving it, but I was oh gosh, who's the fellow in Alberta? I'm just having a senior's moment. Anyway, he put up some great instructions for comet photography, Alan Dyer, and so I decided to try some more. This is just a couple of blocks from my house, looking north, and interestingly enough, I think on 2 nights ago, I stood in front of my house, which is in a cul-de-sac, and there's houses all around, and there's too many lights around, it's all light polluted, but I could see the comet with my own eyes, and and then there was an ISS pass, so I just took. Last night I sort of ramped down the ISO and took longer exposures. You know, I think this is about 5 or 6 seconds, something like that. And I saw, oh, here comes the ISS. So I just took this one, and then it was also photobombed by an aircraft. And I've taken a few extra pictures, and maybe when I get around to trying stacking, which is still some time away, I might play with that. The first couple of times I didn't, all my close-ups were all fuzzy, and so I got a bit of success with that, and another wide-angle shot. But I thought, you know, I'm getting people coming up to me asking me, where is this comet and where do you look for it? So I decided to take a few photos like this to get the Milky Way in there, and then I've been sharing it with various people. So this is just kind of the beginning duffer's guide. But anyway, you know, this year I think the first comet I saw was 50 years ago, Comet Bennett, and a few others. And this is a really an interesting comet because this is the first real big one since we all got into digital photography. You know, like Sherry a few days ago, a couple of weeks ago, posted a beautiful picture she took of Hale Bopp, you know, on film, and we've been kind of waiting all this time to have all this stuff to take these photos. So we're just being inundated with amazing stuff. And, you know, I've already been talking to Alendria, who's the editor of the National Sky News. And of course, that's going to be our next cover. And I just wonder what she's going to have to choose from. But, you know, there was only a couple of comets kind of since then, but you really had to look for them. I remember, when was it, 2006, 2007, there was Comet McNaught, which was close to the sun. And I remember going out to Clover Point. This is when I lived a couple of blocks away from John Mcdonald in Fairfield. And I went down to Clover Point and observed it. There's no way I was going to try a photo. And at the same time I was looking at it, up on the hill above me, John took a beautiful picture of that. I remember I was really thrilled to see it. And then today, and I think Malcolm is here. I was looking on Facebook, and Malcolm put up his photo with a little reprocessing of Comet Holmes, and I remember that one. That was sort of a small one that has kept us going while we waited for something like this. So anyway, I'm sure we're going to have some more amazing pictures of this comet. I think I've kind of done my shot this time, and when the next comet comes, hopefully I'll be a bit more skilled. So I will leave it there.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. Any questions or comments? And Dave, was there anything from Edmonton?
Oh, not this week. I remember that the Hale Bopp experience because I was shooting film, and we were shooting 5-minute photos in order to get anything to show. That's the difference between film and digital, I'll tell you.
I actually remember hand guiding that one
Yeah.
for the eyepiece.
Well, we had built a prototype for a group of scopes we had built for a school outreach program, and it was on the prototype drive, so we were able to get a decent shot of it with 5-minute exposures. That was with EPH 1600. That's how much slower film is.
When was Hyakutake?
The year before.
I think it was 1996.
Yeah, it was the year before, and I actually liked Hayakatake more than Hale Bop because that thing was moving.
It was beautiful.
You could almost just stand there and see the thing move. That's how fast it was going.
Huge tail, but when we went out to watch it at Blackfoot, it was minus 25. My wife gets out of the car, looks up and says, "I've seen it, let's go."
So here's Hale Bop. I don't know if you can see it. This is a woodblock painting. I was in Belize at the time it was up in the sky, and so I picked this up at a beach sale. Hale Bop.
Oh,
Cool.
that's a nice sign.
It's been on my wall ever since.
Very good. John will be your host next week. So I did post in the comments his RASC email address. It's john@victoria.rasc.ca. If you have any topics you want to present or anything you'd like to present. I don't know if there's any closing comments for tonight or anything further, Reg or anybody else?
Well, I just think that everybody here looks a bit tired due to the comet. So maybe as it fades, we'll regather our strength again. But thanks very much for hosting, Chris, and see you next week.
Yeah. And anybody else? Lori, is that, or just waving goodbye?
I was just waving goodbye.
Okay, well, enjoy.
Good night, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Hopefully you get some more final views before it's gone. Take care, everyone.
Good night. Thanks.
Right.